Welcome to the Section 5 Big Show, where we talk about high school sports in the greater Rochester region or area of New York State. I'm James Johnson of the Democrat and Chronicle, and I'm very excited to talk with my colleague at the Daily Messenger Post in Canandaigua, Mr. Bob Chavez. How are you, Bob?
Doing well, James. Thanks.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. We will have a lot to talk about over the next few weeks, couple of months. Basically, they're trying to charge ahead and deliver high school sports for high school athletes in this part of the state, all around the state too. But my understanding is Section 5 is probably has the most drive, has the most willing participants as far as school districts go in the state. One big question is how many people are going to be able to come out and watch their kids play or their friends and family play. A lot of different safety measures taken due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's frustrating, I think, definitely. I mean, we joke, if you're a kid and you have siblings, you always used to joke when you were younger, mommy, daddy, who's your favorite kid? Now kids are going to be picking their favorite family members, so to speak. So yeah, it's going to be some kids are going to be facing some real difficult choices, but I think most people understand where we're at and the progress we're making. So hopefully we won't have any problems, and they'll be able to switch things up throughout the year as they pick and choose between family members, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, that kind of stuff. And hopefully everybody will get to see a little bit of something this fall.
Yeah, what are the rules exactly? I mean, what's the protocol? I mean, you just can't just jump on out there and show up at the gate right before game time to get entrance to a meet or an event.
No. And from what I understand, I've been talking with some athletic directors, mostly in Ontario County. They are planning to strictly enforce this 2-spectator limit that's been handed down by the State Department of Health. And essentially what's going to happen is, rosters will be submitted for each team, and then they'll trade rosters. And then before each game, each kid will be submitting 2 names. And essentially, to just it's going to vary a bit from school to school, but the bottom line is there will be a check-in for each game, and the people at the desk or the table for this check-in will have a list of names provided by the kids. And you go to that check-in. If your name's not on the list, you're not getting in, and it's pretty much as simple as that.
Wow. Will parents or spectators have to bring ID in order to match up the name on the list? Or
that's a good question. I don't know about having to present ID. I do know that if your name is on the list, a lot of schools, some schools will be giving you like a colored bracelet to wear throughout the game. You'll get a ticket at some other schools, and I know like at Victor and Canandaigua, which I think is this may be more in line with the Monroe County League policy, but you'll be getting a lanyard with your name and the sport you play. So whoever you give that lanyard to is that's their ticket into the game.
I'm assuming that a lot of this work will have to be kind of done in advance. A lot of paperwork for athletic directors and coaches or whoever's going to coordinate or set up the list. Did you take the temperature on as far as like how far ahead of school officials want people to say, hey, I'm coming to this game on this date?
I didn't get a timetable on that, but obviously for some it'll be different. Cross country pretty much is once a week, so there is some time there. But soccer, some there are going to be a couple games a week, so there won't be that much time to turn it around. But I don't think it'll be too difficult with emails and then texts and stuff. But definitely, ADs they've got their share of paperwork this season. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. The word I hear a lot is scramble.
Yes.
When we go out to games, sometimes we see the crowd kind of hang out outside the stadium and maybe lean on a fence and and watch the game from there. Can you shed any light as far as, how strict they're going to be as far as where you can go, where you can stand, where you can sit? And
That's a point of confusion right now. A couple of weeks ago on a Zoom call with Dr. Robert Zayas, I asked that question, and he answered that it will be up to each individual school district.
yeah.
Now, I've asked a couple of ADs, and a couple of them have said they're not allowing that. But of course, a lot of it depends too on the layout of the field at the school. Some schools it's just not going to be possible. You can't see the field.
Mm-hmm.
Other places you may be able to sit in your car and still see. Mom and dad or mom and an uncle get out and go watch the game from the stands. And where dad and the aunt or whatever, they may be able to sit in the car, or the younger brothers. But, I don't know exactly what that policy is. I do know that a lot of ADs, they're going to concentrate their enforcement of this, not only the spectators who are there, but, the face coverings and the social distancing that needs to be adhered to. They're going to be focused on enforcing that in the particular venue where the game is being played.
You understand. Any idea about, like, will booster clubs be able to kind of do their thing, or concession stands is going to be a case by case basis, or how are they going to work that out?
That's a good question. It's one I have not asked. I can't imagine it working very well at all. I mean, you don't want sharing food and hands. The fewer hands that touch things these days, the better.
Yeah,
we can look into, but I haven't asked anybody about that.
Well, I mean, that seems like common sense. If social distance is so high up on the list of things to do for an event or a meet, I can't imagine a school saying, hey, go on over to the hot dog and hamburger
right.
and fiddle around with the Skittles. And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, from what I understand, a lot of campuses are going to be very clearly marked with signs. Some people are going to have arrows on the ground, because at some place, like in Bloomfield, the soccer fans are going to come in on the north side of the stadium that they have there, watch your game, and then when you leave, you're actually going to go out the other side of the stadium, because they're trying to reduce that bi-directional traffic. Everybody sharing the path, and and I imagine that during a game, it's easy to congregate and watch, with friends and family, family of other players. And so they're going to be keeping an eye on that and making sure people keep their distance.
Yeah, it's going to get a little tricky. We know how that goes,
Yeah.
Telling people where to go, when to go, what not to do, what to do. And we used to always do this and that. And
yep.
Yeah.
These are different times, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if anything, I don't think anything can take place at Old Evans Field there. But if you have a setup like that where you can kind of pull out your lawn chair and sit in your backyard and watch things unfold, that would seem ideal. But I don't, there's no football this fall, so
yeah,
I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, no more scaffoldings in the backyard, that's for sure.
As far as like, sometimes some schools like to have bands. I don't know if cheerleaders, I guess competitive cheerleading is moved to the spring, but will cheerleaders show up at events to cheer on teams or anything? Did you get a sense of that or anything?
I haven't, no, but that's a pretty good question to ask, though, too. I mean, our soccer team's not going to have a cheerleading unit on the side,
Yeah.
I suppose it's very possible. Like you said, the competitive cheer is out, but get some school spirit there. Maybe cheerleaders at soccer matches or cross country matches or cross country meets be something different and new this year.
Yeah, it's all kind of a tricky balance, I guess. At the sectional level, they're kind of asking leagues and sports, the coordinators of each sport, and they go back to the different leagues, how many people are going to be there? That's the big thing.
That's it.
I'm starting to get things about, media presence at events. We're going to have to follow some rules in order to, if we plan on coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'll be accomplishable, if that's a word. But I mean, we'll have to, before we get at least, in our, you could just show up to a game, take your pictures, and
Yeah.
But now it's just going to be a matter of checking in with the AD and saying, hey, look, I'm going to be here. And, obviously taking pictures, you don't have to be close to anybody for that and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just keep your distance from other people around. I think it can work out pretty well.
Yeah. I can imagine. I'm going to end up standing in some kind of painted circle or square or something. I can't go here and can't go there, and it's understandable. It's I mean, school officials, athletic directors, coaches, and even the athletes, they're thinking about a lot of things that, you just kind of take for granted. And it's a grind. You got to go through a long, long, long checklist to make things happen.
Yeah, it goes right back to that whole mountain of paperwork and just hundreds and hundreds of emails to sort through and stuff. And really got to tip our caps to those athletic directors and stuff because obviously they're facing something that they've never faced before. Never imagined we'd have to deal with all the logistics and the because it's not just even getting your team in order. You have to make sure everybody else is in order. Then you have to coordinate officials and transportation, which is big. And so these athletic directors they're working their tails off this year.
How'd you like to be the athletic director who sees someone not wearing their mask, and considering what's happening in stores and things when someone says, hey, where's your mask? Or, you have to put that on.
There could be some awkward situations for sure. I mean, I know there's some leeway where they say the athletes, if you can't tolerate the mask, you're allowed to take it off.
Yeah.
But if you're on the sideline or after the game, you definitely need to wear it. And there's definitely a possibility for some awkward moments, maybe some contentious moments. And you really just hope that people, no matter where you fall with all this, you can abide by the rules and help everyone. It's not just about yourself. Help everyone get through this. Because last spring we sat around, we had nothing to cover, we had nothing to play, and it was a tough spring to get through. And so hopefully we're taking a step forward, and hopefully if we abide by the rules, we can take even bigger steps down the road.
I mean, the bottom line is, don't take the focus off of the kids. This is
Right.
everyone's doing all of this stuff to make sure the kids have some type of season. I mean, they've already going to be going to or competing in less meets, less events, and things like that. And, following all kinds of rules that, they never dreamed of, especially if you're a senior.
Yeah.
I don't think you expected your final year of high school sports to unfold like this, but some of the ones I've talked to, they kind of, they're rolling with it like some of the adults, and you're just saying, hey, something is better than nothing.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, like I said, last spring we had nothing, and I couldn't tell you the number of messages, I'd get from kids saying, hey, what do you know? Tell me I can play lacrosse this spring, and your heart breaks for the kids, especially the seniors. We didn't see this coming, and you kept thinking that at least for me, I keep thinking, oh, maybe this will be over soon, maybe it won't be so bad, but it's bad, and it really impacted us this spring. So, like you said, something right now is better than nothing. So let's keep it that way.
One big question that's kind of floating around is everyone's kind of wondering if there will be sectionals. Some sports, they're under the impression that it's a done deal. They're going to have some type of sectional championships. Some of the conversations I've had, it's not quite there yet. Basically, all of the sport coordinators have put together proposals like if there are sectional championships, this is how we're going to run them. These are the safety protocols we have in place, and so on and so forth. And right now, what I've been told is the higher ups in Section 5 are going to gather all that information, review it, and make a decision within the next 2 weeks. Deciding yay or nay, this is feasible. So sectional championships are not quite a given.
Yeah, no, it sounds a lot like a lot of things that we've been dealing with and trying to get answers to throughout this whole pandemic, where, yeah, like you said, the proposals are there, the plans are in place, here's what we can do, but, that's what, in a month and a half, away, 2 months away, and a lot can happen between now and then. So yeah, I think it's just that we just don't know. I mean, it's frustrating to say that because we want answers and stuff, but we just don't know. So if the plans are in place, and hey, if we get there, then we can do it.
All the factors kind of shift like sand here. I
Yeah.
see our former colleague Jeff DeVeronica. He works in the communications department at West Irondequoit School District. He can tell you. I mean, things kind of shift all over the place. It's one way one day, and then next week you got to come up with Plan B or C or D. So
Yeah.
these sectional championships, I mean, they're going to review, the availability of some venues, because some things still might not be all the way open. How many kids are going to participate in it? If you're in soccer, if the girls soccer folks want a open tournament, meaning like it usually is, if you want to come in, you want to take part, you want to participate, go on in. But if the other group wants a closed tournament, what do? They're probably going to make them both do the same thing, basically. Items like that. I've heard about some school districts saying, well, if we have a swimming meet, the only spectators that are going to be welcomed are the ones from the whole school. So there's all kinds of things to sort out.
The other thing to remember too, I mean, it's like you mentioned with soccer too, is if we do have a Section 5 soccer tournament for the boys and the girls, it's going to be a lot later than it usually is. It's going to be cold out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be cold, and but from my point of view, I'll take it. Considering where we were, last spring. But yeah, there's a lot of logistics to sort out and stuff. So I think what Section 5 is doing is just a kind of a wait and see approach. And hey, let's get through the first week of the season, the first 2 weeks. Hopefully the infection rate stays down and we can keep going. And and then in a month or two, let's get a championship going.
I think what a lot of officials at schools and at the sectional level, they're really, really keeping an eye on, what the outbreak conditions are within the schools itself. How's it going as far as classes go? I know there's been a little bit of an issue at Penfield, at Lyons, whether the outbreak took place or was detected on campus or not, they still have to monitor those things. So I've been told, patience is going to be the word. What's in place now might not be in place later. So
yeah, and it's not even just the kids either. I mean, too, there's so many other factors. The one district, bus driver, tested positive. So then all the bus drivers in that district, go into quarantine, and boom, you're out of a bus driving staff. How are you going to get the kids to school, much less to soccer games or swimming meets and stuff? So there are so many different factors here to consider. Where the kids could be fine, but if you don't have bus drivers, no one's going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, who could have imagined? But this is Section 5 in high school sports in 2020. We'll see how it all plays out. Thank everyone for joining us, and just stay tuned for all of the different shifts. Be safe, everybody.